That sounded like a train wreck. I know, I was supposed to say get my 6, but it sounded like there was a train wreck. You know what the creepy thing about that is? There's no train track around here, but there used to be. It used to run right through here. That sounds like a train. That's not even remotely what this video was supposed to be about. You know, somebody said in the comments the other day that they believe the dimensions sometimes blend or overlap each other, and that the veil is becoming thin or something. It made sense the way they worded it. I couldn't word it as eloquently, but it's like sometimes, because always the video that I made up here the other day when I could hear like music playing, and a lot of other folks heard it, but there was no music playing. So, and this individual said that they've experienced that too. So guys, get my 6. I didn't say that, but I meant to. Here, let me sit over here. Steady this camera. I don't want to make you dizzy. I've got to talk to you about something very important. It's time to come clean. It's time to get something off my chest. And the reason I'm doing it here, and I know millions of people could see this, you know, there's some really weird overlapping of the dimensions out here today. Guys, and don't just look back there, but listen also. We've been having, this time of day, some, last couple evenings, been out here splitting wood. And not only have we had tree knocks, but we've had something potentially closing in pretty close on us and like huffing, like a low, deep, guttural, alpha male type challenge is how I took it. So be on high alert. And also, because I haven't done this in a couple of weeks, okay, so if I look exhausted, it's because I am. Okay, as of this recording, it's like 6:30 in the evening, and I just got up from an hour and a half nap, a late nap, and I had coffee, and I don't feel like it. I'm completely exhausted. Most of you who watch regularly know my routine. Wake up early, exercise for an hour. As of late, I've been splitting wood for 2 or 3 hours with a manual splitter. 2-ton manual splitter, and that is coming to a very swift end. We've decided we're actually going to break down and get a gas powered splitter, because we have some wonderful people from Fant Tree Services, F-A-N-T, out of Culpeper, Virginia, Madison County, Virginia, but they also service Orange County, Greene County, Albemarle County, where we are, the Charlottesville area, the greater Charlottesville area. If you have a dead tree that you need taken down, or a living one, or if you've had one fallen in the storm you need it removed, call these guys, Fant Services. They've been bringing me dump truck loads of firewood, and it's big stuff. They brought me a dump truck load of white oak yesterday that's probably, some of it's 30 inches across. There's no way I'm going to be able to get that cut up with my little 18-inch Pull-In Pro, which they call pull-on, because I guess it doesn't, people say they've had problems with it, you know, not staying on, have to start it over and over. I haven't, but that project is just too big for it. And I'm not going to try to split up trees that big with a 2-ton manual splitter, just because of the time factor. So I do that. And then I've been working on this anthology, this Halloween anthology, that I believe we're going to meet the schedule. I've got to have it to my editor by the end of August, by midnight on August 31. It's got to be there. And I think we're going to do that. I've got 10 days left. So I'm breaking my back in between splitting wood and mountain biking and all this stuff doing this. So I'm exhausted. Now here's where my mistress comes in, and what I'm really here to talk to you about. And I know I've dragged it on, and it's not intentional. Just how I am. So as you can imagine, when I finally lay my head on the pillow at night, I'm exhausted. I'm just completely exhausted. It takes me about 1 minute to fall asleep. And I wish I could say that I slept straight through the night until the next day, but I don't, and I haven't in about 4 years. Actually longer than that, because before that it was other things, insomnia associated with PTSD, service in Iraq, and all that stuff. But the reason I haven't been able to sleep straight through the night in the last 4 years, despite being completely exhausted when I go to bed, is because I have a mistress who, not so quietly, for me, sneaks into the house and wakes me up. And when she's done, about an hour and a half later, not so quietly, leaves the house. She makes sure not to wake my wife up, dearly. My beautiful bride, dearly, aka Giggly Girl. She never hears her. I'm the one that hears her, of course. There's something walking around in the woods behind me. Okay, anyway. Could be the result of sleep deprivation, perhaps the result of a guilty conscience. And again, to answer that question, how could I have a mistress when I have a wife like I do? Well, if you saw my mistress, and if you saw just how beautiful she was, and just how cute and lovable and all these things, you'd understand. So, with that said, have a look at my mistress. So here she is. Here's my mistress. Can I have a kiss? Yes, I know. Wow. Caught us kissing on camera. Busted. Wanna say hi, Miss Kitty? Say hi. Yeah, she just woke up. Must be nice to get some sleep. Wow, back just in time for a tree knock. Another one. No, I'm not doing weird stuff with a cat. That's gross. Okay, here's the story. Dearly actually gave our cat, Cleopatra, the nickname my mistress, Kevin's mistress. And the reason why is because I'm the only person that she will let touch her. Here lately, she's been letting Daniel pet her a little bit, but she totally hates my wife. She can't stand her. Now, here's the backstory to this, and this is what I think may be the case. We got Cleopatra from the SPCA the very day after we signed on our house to buy this house and moved in. The next day, we got Cleopatra. The reason why is because our son Daniel wanted a cat. We moved here from the Philippines. Daniel was 5 when we got here. In the Philippines, it's not common to have cats as pets. Most of the only people that actually have cats as pets there are the wealthy. Now, there are cats everywhere, but they're feral. They're stray. They're street cats. You see them all over the dumpsters. You see them at the back doors of the restaurants, and it's sad. It'll break your heart. And you certainly don't want to touch them. And they certainly wouldn't let you if you tried. They'd hiss at you and claw you to death. And I mean, they're like wild animals, just living all over the cities and the provinces. So, to the degree, get this, and this is what made Daniel want a cat. When we stayed in Manila, the last 6 months we were there while we were processing Dearly's visa, so that, once the embassy gave it to us, we could jump on the next plane to the U.S., and that's what we did. And it was expensive, but the time had come. It was time to come here, and we wanted to get here quickly. And there was this place in Manila. There was these two Filipino guys, who were geniuses. They had traveled abroad quite a bit working, and they saw how they may have worked in the U.S. at some point, and they saw how much people in the West kind of like cats and keep them as pets. It's common here to keep them as pets. So they started a business where they went out and they bought maybe 24 cats, really different really cool kinds of cats, different breeds, like big bushy Angoras, and they had those cats that like look blue. I don't know the names of these breeds, but they had a couple cats that don't have fur, looks like wrinkly mouse skin and stuff. They just had all these various cats, and they set up their shop in like one of the wealthy areas in Manila, and they charged like 1,000 pesos an hour, I think, to go in and just pet the cats. Now, 1,000 pesos is about $20, because $1 is worth 50 pesos, so 10 would be 500. $20 is 1,000 pesos. You say, well, that's kind of pricey, 20 bucks, but that's not a lot of money. Okay, understand the average monthly income in that country is just over 4,000 pesos, which would be about 100 bucks is 5,000 pesos. That's probably the average monthly income. So 1,000 pesos to pet a cat for an hour is actually quite expensive. And these guys had business lined up at the door and around the corner. We had to wait, I think, for an hour. We might have even made reservations, got a time slot, and come back is how it worked. So here's my 5-year-old son for the first time in his life petting cats, and he just loved it. And these cats were wonderful. They just jump up in your lap and purr. And we talked to the 2 guys that owned the place. Wonderful guys. Really enjoyed talking to them. I told them, wow, you guys are geniuses. They said, I know. Yeah, we know. So ever since then, Daniel wanted a cat. So we got him a cat, Cleopatra. Cleopatra's Daniel's cat, but she doesn't really like him that much. So we got her from the SPCA. And the story we got, and I don't have any reason to doubt him. Okay, I saw something, and I heard a growl as it ducked behind the tree. Did you guys see that? It was a very low growl. Rewind at that point and put your earbuds in and listen. Okay, so anyway, supposedly Cleopatra was found in a women's restroom at the local mall in Charlottesville, and the people that found her brought her to the SPCA. I believe that's what the SPCA people were told. My gut's telling me that the person that brought her to the SPCA, that was their cat, and that's the story they came up with. Because how does a cat get into the bathroom in a mall? So anyway, we got her, we brought her home, and she wouldn't even let me touch her for the longest time. I mean, she was like feral, like she was wild. But over time, she started letting me pet her because I'm the one that feeds her. I think it's one of those, like Pavlov's dog thing. I think this is Crazy Lake's cat. She sees that I'm the one that puts the food and the water and dishes. I'm the one that lets her in and out of the house. And so you've seen, she's been in a lot of my videos, following me around all over the place. She goes Bigfoot Sasquatch hunting with me. So we build a rapport. But even to this day, after 4 years of having her, here's her routine. At night, when my beautiful bride Dearly, aka Giggly Girl, and I are watching Supernatural, because Dearly is completely obsessed with Jensen Ackles, the actor who plays Dean Winchester. And now we're in season 8, and she's going on and on about how much Sam has matured and whatever. She likes them both now. Okay, so Cleopatra will jump up on the bed, she'll sit on my lap, she'll let me pet her, and she'll purr, and she does this for about 4 or 5 minutes. But when she's finished, she'll very quickly, at the speed of light, turn around, bite me, claw me, growl and hiss, and then leave. Then she jumps up on the dresser and either goes to sleep if it's winter, or if it's summer like now, she has me put her outside, let her outside so she can come out here and kill stuff all night. Mice, rats, ghouls and goblins, who knows what else. Okay, but here's the deal. Okay, so by the time I go to sleep, I'm exhausted. I fall immediately to sleep, and it's like I'm in a coma. This cat will come clawing at the window frame of our bedroom window, which is right beside the head of our bed, anywhere from 3:30 to about 5 a.m. for me to let her in. Never wakes up my wife. So I get up, let her in. She comes in. She goes straight to her food dish and starts eating, even though she's probably eating small rodents all night. And so I go back to bed, and I'm usually able to get back to sleep most of the time when that happens. Then an hour later, so if she came in at 3:30, by 4:30, she comes in the bedroom crying, wanting me to let her back out. And I get up to put her out, And then I can't get back to sleep. Even if, you know, maybe if we were up late. You see that? I swear it looks like to me like we've got a peeker back here that just keeps peeking around one of these trees back here throughout this whole video. There's nothing else moving back there. Keep watching. We're not done yet. Okay, so anyway, I can't get back to sleep. So even if we're up till midnight watching a movie and 4:30 she wants out, I let her out. I can't sleep. 4.5 hours of sleep. And this has been going on for 4 years. Now, here's what I'm talking about this. You guys, my viewers, have given me some of the best advice I've gotten with this homesteading stuff. Better ways to grow trees, better ways to do gardening, better ways to split firewood. Like, hey, when are you ever going to actually get a gas-powered log splitter? Like I'm talking about now. And yes, that time has come because of Fant Tree Services blessing us with not just unlimited free firewood, but unlimited free firewood that they bring to us by the dump truckload. It's amazing. But I've got to sleep. And it's like, so what do? I mean, I don't want to get rid of the cat. The truth of it is, I love my cat. I know that sounds like weird. Here I am, supposed to be like this combat veteran, alpha male, accomplished man, and I'm talking about loving my cat. I'm supposed to love a big old pit bull or a Rottweiler or something like that, aren't I? But I love my cat. That's just the truth of it. I don't want to get rid of her. I would never get rid of her in really mean, inhumane ways. You know what I'm getting at? But I don't even want to give her away. I don't want to put an ad in the paper. You know, hey, free to a good home. I don't want to do that. I want to keep her. And it's mostly not just because I love her, but here's the deal. I have reason to believe that she was abused when she was a kitten. And I think that's why she doesn't like Dearly. We'll have people come over sometimes, and she'll actually start to warm up with some of the men, but she absolutely, and there it is, watch that right there. Footsteps. But my cat, my mistress, Cleopatra, absolutely hates women. So I think she was abused, and I think she was abused by a woman. Here on our property, we have 6 acres. She's got the full reign of this entire property. And there's been times, like up here in the woods, the property line is just back here a bit. There's been times I've been up here in the morning, and I've seen her coming over the hill up here. There's been times I've been sitting in my reading nook, which looks out over our fruit orchard in the bottom part of our pond, across the road to a property over there. This guy over there's got 8 acres that drops down to a river back there. There's been times I've been sitting there having coffee at like 6 a.m. and I've seen her coming up the backside of his hill. So I think this cat probably travels about over a space of probably between 30 and 40 acres. I think she pretty much travels this entire mountaintop. And she's in heaven. It's the perfect place for a cat. So I couldn't imagine giving her to somebody who would declaw her and never let her go outside. I mean, this, in my view, is the most inhumane thing you could do to a cat. You know, the problem with that is if the cat accidentally gets outside, it can't defend itself. You take its claws out, it can't even run up a tree to get away from a predator or any sort of threat, be it a dog. Or, you know, out here where we are, there's foxes everywhere. We see foxes almost every day. You know, you get her somebody thinks they're, well, you know, we're going to declaw her so she doesn't destroy the couch. She doesn't bother the couch. She uses those claws to defend herself if something tries to eat her, you know? So I'm just not going to do that to her. I'm going to keep her. That's the nuts and bolts of it. But it's like, how can I keep her and still get sleep at the same time? I'm thinking, you know, we got some spare rooms upstairs. Should I shut her up in my office at night? Put her food and water up there. Put the litter box in there. We usually keep it actually in my reading nook in the hallway because that's like a central area. But I've got to get some sleep. For 4 years now, my mistress has not let me get a single night's sleep straight through. And I just had to come clean about this. So, in case you missed it earlier, Thanks for being here, and we'll see you for more next time. PBS S, Potential Bigfoot Sasquatch. Show.